And that's where I guess the question really gets interesting, because when you talk about things like gay marriage, it is more black and white in that sense. When we get down to living the life, all that, yeah, sure, we can help people get through those difficulties. But in things like liturgy, that's an interesting question. I grew up more with, especially in my conversion to the faith, it's more of a traditional kind of mindset. And so I get something from the traditional kind of mindset, the more conservative mindset, you might call it. But as I've kind of, I don't know what the right word is, evolved or matured as a priest, growing as a priest. And something that, in my perspective on this, I guess, I don't even know if matured is the right word, but maybe evolved or developed, maybe that's the right word, develops in a certain sense. I remember listening to an interview by Pope Benedict XVI's secretary. He was talking about Pope Benedict XVI's Motu Proprio to allow a wider use, for example, of the extraordinary form. And one of the reasons why, or the motivations that the Holy Father gave into giving this Motu Proprio was because, as he was saying, and I'm kind of paraphrasing his words, so this is not quote for quote for his words, but kind of what he was saying is, I recognize in the church that there are many who still get some spiritual benefit by attending the extraordinary form, by attending this Mass. And to be honest with you, it's still a holy thing. It's not something objectively wrong or negative. There's something holy. Therefore, if I give a wider use and allow more people who do get something out of it to attend it, to get something, get what they can from it, then we achieve more unity within the liturgy. Everybody's more at peace with themselves. Right. Whereas if I had to cut it off, I create a sense of almost resentments, because there are some who do get something out of it, and now I've just basically taken it away from them, right? And so in that sense, then, we have to, when we talk about things like liturgy, I guess where my mind is kind of developed is the way we achieve peace is not by enforcing all of my preferences, but by understanding this is what the church allows, this is not what the church allows. When the church does not allow something, we have to put our foot down. We can't go beyond what the church allows. But I can't always just take away from what others have preferred because I don't prefer it, because you might be creating a sense of resentment in them, or you might be stalling or creating an obstacle in their conversion. I think about my own conversion too. I mean, I wasn't always in the traditional movement. There are some things even within the charismatic movement that kind of initiated my conversion, right? Now, I didn't remain in that I would say spirituality. I went to Steubenville. I've been around a lot of charismatics. I know a lot of very good charismatics. I did not grow in that spirituality, but there was in my initiation, my initial conversion, there was elements of that. If I just, as a person who perhaps does not identify or prefer the charismatic movement, for example, if I were just to eliminate it, how many conversions might I be taking away because I got rid of something that wasn't doing something for me, but was doing something for someone else that might help them along the path. So that's where I have to be kind of cautious of. And so I guess the point there is like when it comes to preference, as someone who is in charge of the liturgy, or who says Mass and all those things, I have to be conscious that there might be elements that might be important to other people that the church allows, and conscious of those things that the church does not allow, where some of these movements might be taking things too far. Okay, well, if they go too far, they go beyond what the church has allowed, then you have to put your foot down. You can't go beyond that. Right. But to completely destroy that would be, I think, would be create disunity, and rather than unity, especially where you're not allowing what is legitimate, what the church legitimately allows. I guess does that make any sense? So, so for me, it's not so much. Okay, here's an ideal. I have to completely enforce it on everybody that I know because this is my ideal. No. Whereas I know what the church allows. I understand the mind of the church. When I, as a priest, go up there and celebrate Mass, I know that my job is to present a reverent and a prayerful liturgy. Now, if there are elements that kind of take away from that, then I have to be careful and mindful of that. But if there are elements that don't perfectly fit my preference that day, for example, do I walk into a church, into a parish, and just first thing tell everybody, you have to receive on the knees and on the tongue, where there are some who receive on the hand? Right. That might not create the unity and the peacefulness in that reconciliation, I guess, that you're looking for
Right.
in that parish, because the church allows this. Therefore, should I come in there and just eliminate it right off the top of the first thing I do? You might be stumbling. You might be creating a stumbling block for those who are there.